Hello everybody out there. Welcome to Kol Shachar, one of the most beautiful places in the land of Israel and one of the most beautiful places in the world as far as I'm concerned. We're about 30 kilometers northeast of the holy city of Jerusalem, and as we approach the fast of the 9th of Av, we focus on Jerusalem and the destroyed temple, two temples that were destroyed. According to the Bible and the rabbis, the first temple was destroyed because of idolatry and murder and immorality, and the second temple because of causeless hatred, because people had lost their respect for one another. And today in Israel we have a very similar situation. And I think in the world we have it too, that people need to care more about each other, need to respect each other more. And we had many events besides the destruction of the temple that occurred this time of year. The first event was in the Torah itself, when Moses sent the spies out to spy out the land of Israel. They came back and gave an evil report, and the people said, "Oh no, we don't want to go and conquer the land. It's dangerous. It's our kids are going to get massacred, and these people are giants." And that all happened on Tisha B'Av, and because they cried for nothing, they were forced to wander in the desert for 40 years. And the date of Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, has become a time of mourning throughout the generations. And as we said, that original event and the two temples, the expulsion of the Jews from Spain also took place on that date in 1492, and most recently the terrible tragedy that occurred here in Israel 3 years ago, when 9,000 Jews were kicked out of their homes in Gush Katif in Gaza by our own government. And many promises were made that there would be a solution for all these people in terms of housing and employment and reconstruction of their destroyed communities, and it still hasn't happened yet. And they're hanging there for 3 years, and this is part of the problem, that people don't care enough about each other. People don't respect each other enough, and we have the same problem in terms of our relationship with our Arab neighbors, that they don't respect our right to be here. And for 60 years and more, we have bent over backward to make life better for them, and they simply want to destroy us. And take a look at Gaza today. Gaza, there was a plan, there was a deal that was made that all of the agricultural equipment and all the farms were going to be set up, were going to be sold through an international agency and given to the Arabs to farm the land. And it turns out that what they're doing is using that area as a staging area for terrorism and training for terrorists. And that's what we got out of this great gesture, which many of us said was going to come to something terrible to begin with. And then that happened in 2005. In 2006, we had the Second Lebanon War, which was a failure because the Israeli army was spending all its time preparing to kick Jews out of their homes rather than to fight our enemies. And this is what we need to change some things, and we need to reach out to all of the people in the world, the Jews and people who have connections to a Jewish past. They're part of the paradoxical relationship that we have with our Arab neighbors here is, I think, because many of those Arabs really have Jewish ancestry. Even one of Muhammad's wives was Jewish. A few months ago, I was riding on a bus. The bus driver was a very nice fellow, and I said, take your break at the end of your run, come down to our yeshiva, I'll get you a cup of coffee. And I said, how do you do? My name's Yoshua. And he says, my name's Sayad. An Arab name. I said, and where do you live? East Jerusalem. And it turns out he says he's an Arab, but in the conversation it turns out that his maternal grandmother was a Yemenite Jew, a Jew from Yemen, and that makes him Jewish. There are a lot of people there. There are villages where you can see the gouged out holes in the doorposts where there used to be mezuzahs, where it says to write on the doorpost of your house. So the scrolls that were there were taken out when those people converted to Islam. There's a village called Yatta where about half of the people there are a few hundred years ago converted to Islam. There are also people, I've been in contact with the Pathans in Pakistan and India and Afghanistan who come from, as far as we can tell, the lost 10 tribes. Most Jews don't know what tribe they're from. These people do. If somebody's, my friend Navras Afridi is a name that's connected with the tribe of Ephraim. We have a lot of getting back together to do, and we have to start by getting over our preconceived notions and respecting people for what they are, and learning to understand each other's language, and stop trashing each other, and respect people's right to defend themselves. In the UN, about a third of what goes on in the UN is devoted to trashing Israel. That's quite a lot for this small strip of land that you have to use you have to use a magnifying glass to find on a globe. We could do better. We could do better. There's scientific development here that's helping the whole world. We can do better. Let's all give each other a break, and maybe next Tisha B'Av we'll be feasting instead of fasting. This is Yoshua Friedman from Kochav HaShachar.